Peace. Sociolinguist Sun Michaud here, Gullah Geechee Binya at your service on this hot behind Charleston D, yeah?
Charleston, South Carolina has seen the most extreme heat index in the country this week. On Thursday, we saw a heat index value that feels like temperature just over 120 degrees.
Today I want to talk to you about something that you probably seldom consciously think about, but you stay in your feelings about. And when I say in your feelings, I do mean literally. It is the difference between me being your boyfriend or your man, your baby or your daddy. And that difference is connotation. Connotation is often confused with definition, and definition is often confused with denotation. Similar, but not the same. Denotation is the most fundamental static meaning of a word. It stays the same across the board. It deals in actuality. Whereas definition is much more flexible. It takes into consideration factors that are not applied to denotation, which brings us to connotation, how it makes us feel when we hear it. And that's not nothing. How we feel about a word can determine its meaning. Yes, social connotation can lead to a semantic shift in a word and add to its definition. So I was having a discussion with a white neurodivergent guy who said to me, the black folks shouldn't be offended by being called apes because it's scientifically correct and also not race specific. To which I said, bet, then you shouldn't be offended by being called schizo and the R word, considering at one point in time that would have been considered scientifically correct and not race specific. He was offended, but all he could say was, touche. Often, people who kink shame or those who are just simply not part of a culture where this is common, got something to say about men and women calling each other mama and daddy or papi and mommy. For their own reason, they associate this with, let's just say, an Oedipus complex and Electra complex. But many of these same people have no misgivings whatsoever about calling their own lover baby. Are you thinking about a literal infant when you call your lover baby? Of course not. So what is the difference between assuming that someone who calls their lover daddy is thinking about incest if you're not thinking about pedophilia when you call your adult lover an infant? Is it not the same thing in principle when you call an adult romantic partner your boyfriend or girlfriend, despite a boy and a girl being minors? Of course, it's not literal, but connotation, the way that these words make us feel in our relationships to these words is what's making us comfortable or uncomfortable with these words in those contexts. Context matters very much when it comes to connotation. So if you find yourself in a rift with someone about the meaning of a word, ask yourself, are you reacting to what they said or how what they said made you feel? Being able to discern the difference can lead to a communication breakthrough or breakdown. Now, who's your daddy? We out here.